Misery loves company. And right now, Washington Commanders fans are in misery. And so today we are going to discuss other recent NFL teams that have updated their looks that totally missed the mark. So Washington fans, you're not alone. Let's do it. After Washington released the new Commanders nickname, uniform, and logo, the general feedback and consensus has been negative. So today we are going to look at other recent NFL teams that have updated their looks and that have missed the mark and haven't really connected, and what they could do to improve. And so when we recorded our video, Chris, on the Washington rebrand, that was our general reaction. I've had a little time to think about it, and for me, I just think that they totally lost any connection with the past. People were upset about losing the Redskins, but everyone seemed generally pleased with the Washington football team, and those fans seemed appeased because that look still felt familiar and gave them something, that they were still had a connection to. And I think that's something that a lot of these teams that we're going to discuss today have missed. Which team do you want to discuss?
Let's talk about Miami. As a child, I grew up as a fan of the Miami Dolphins. I watched Dan Marino play, watched my heart get broken 1982 in the playoffs with the Chargers. But the one thing I've always loved about the Dolphins uniform is it had this clean, classic look to it, with the three stripes down the leg, with the stripes on the socks. And I loved the old leaping dolphin helmet, along with the sea green. I know, like the sea green and the orange feels like sun and sea to me. It feels like what dolphins should signify. It feels very Miami to me, like just has that look. And to me, it also connected to the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl was just such a big deal. All that, like when you talk about teams wanting to branch their history, I think that's where Miami fell short, because they went with this look where they've got kind of this like whimsical dolphin kind of jumping through the sky. And then they've got like this look of like a teal blue. And they spend a lot of time with the white uniforms a lot. And so you don't get the blue very much. And so I feel like the blue and the orange really are missing in that uniform. And even when they wear the home look with the blue uniform, I still don't like the way the numbers present. I don't like the shade. And I just feel like the Dolphins should go back to that classic with the stripes, the teal, like the tealish green color. Not the tealish, but it's like the sea green color.
Yeah.
I really miss that. It's just such a classic look to me. Like I said, it just looks like kind of a washed over green. Like it looks very watery, like Dolphins. It says it all.
Yeah, no, you're more down on this current Dolphins look than I am. I think it's generally pretty clean. I think the letters are a little more, or the numbers rather, are a little more stylized than I prefer. But as much as I don't mind the current look, you see those throwbacks and you say, yes, that is, a step above. It really is next level. And one of my first videos that I posted was the Atlanta Falcons. This is a look that is just bizarre to me. They do a lot of weird things. There's even gradient on the uniform. I don't know what they were thinking. The only redeeming factor that I think the Falcons have is that their alternate is a throwback. The black one. It's really clean and simple. And to me, I just think you have this. It is a look you are currently wearing, and it is so it's retro while also like clean and feels new. And you have this in your closet. You can pull this out. That is the answer. Just to have that as your primary and have a white version as an alternate, and that's their answer.
I agree. That's what the Jets did when Parcells came in. They realized they had these amazing uniforms that they weren't wearing, that they hadn't worn in decades, and they were beautiful. And with the Falcons, yeah, I mean, the uniform screams Atlanta Hawks to me. It's like football Hawks, because that's what I would expect an NBA team to wear, but not an NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next for me, speaking of Jets, are the New York Jets. I think the Jets. I love the old uniform they had, the classic like throwback uniform they wore during the Parcells era, and then into the the modern era with the dark green, the hunter green and white. I thought it was just a beautiful shade of green. And I love the way that it looked like old blue collar Jets from like the 60s. That's what it reminded me of. It was a team that was gritty, you know, just seeing guys like Curtis Martin wear the uniform and just some of these other the Jets players wear it. And when they switched to the new uniforms, I wasn't so keen on it. Like I like the Gotham green, I like the darker, like that midnight green shade. The black uniforms are fun, but you know, with everybody adopting a black uniform, it's like it's not special anymore. It used to be a special thing when someone had a black uniform. Now everyone's adopting some sort of black alternate. It's not as much fun. But and just the all white doesn't work for me at all with the Jets. But I don't like I think the uniform just lacks a lot of character. I'm not a fan of the stripes across the top of the shoulder pads. And of course, the trend with putting the name of the cities or teams across the collarbone area. Not really a big fan of that either. Like every team seems to be wanting to go in that direction. But with the Jets, I feel like the Jets had an opportunity to bridge classic with 80s retro and do it really well. And they probably should have just done a little bit of an update from those like 80s, 90s, like early 90s uniforms. And I think it would have worked out well, like the Ken O'Brien jerseys, like those old uniforms. But I don't know. I think they failed. They failed by not putting, like I said, any striping, any character into it.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I really like that kind of forest or hunter green, that darker green look, but I can appreciate that they went to the, more of their old retro style green. So that's fine. I think overall it's pretty clean. It just feels like right, they could have done just a little bit more. It's not a terrible rebrand, but it's just feels like you had so much good to work with, just like the Falcons. It's like, why didn't you kind of pull from that arsenal and use that instead of doing something funky? Last one for me, and I know you disagree with me a little bit on this one, but is the Titans. They certainly improved upon their look, but they still just have so much going on. There's some interesting things like the shoulder blades have that gray and it kind of looks like the blades of a sword, which is kind of clever, and I get what they're doing. I still kind of, when I look at them, they just feel like pajamas or something that they have on. It doesn't feel like a football uniform. So I think they've improved, but I think they could have really gone much cleaner, because I think they have great colors. I think it's a cool name. And I know they're not the Oilers anymore, but you could still pull from maybe some of those more classic old Oilers looks.
Yeah, I mean, the pants are kind of weird with the way they did the little blocks on the pants. I mean, but the uniform, to me, the uniform only works when it's all blue. That's the only
Yeah,
time it works. When it's any other incarnation apart from that, it just doesn't look the same. But the all blue, at least it feels cohesive.
mm-hmm.
And I really wish they would just sell the name Oilers back to Houston, and we can get rid of the Texans and have the Oilers again. But that's just a pipe dream. So lastly, for me, a team that I've just had beef with from the minute I saw these uniforms, I was unimpressed, unenthused. I mean, Eric Dickerson sent scathing emails to the organization. That tells you all you need to know when a Rams legend tells you that you missed the mark. And the Rams uniform, I was hoping, I was not expecting what we got. Nothing close. Like they had teased for the entire year they were going to go back to the dark blue and white. And so I was expecting dark blue and white. And then they roll out with the blue and yellow. I was like, okay, the blue and yellow is fine. I wasn't a fan of like the Ram head logo, the image logo. I'm okay with the LA logo with the Ram horn. That's fine. But then when I saw the uniforms, there's just nothing redeeming about them. The bone, what's that all about? Like the whole bone look was terrible. Looks like a dirty uniform, essentially. And then the yellow, like the yellow and blue, it's kind of grown on me a little bit to the sense where I can actually look at it and be okay with it. But I just don't like the fact that they've got white pants with like a light yellow stripe down the side. It doesn't look very good. I don't know. It's just hard to find any good combination for these uniforms. The only saving grace I will say, apart, that the uniform did do was they put the old yellow sleeves back on, but the numbering's terrible. They look like plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an outline puffy paint number that's gradient and it looks really, really bad.
Yeah, speaking of the numbers, it reminds me of, those shirts where you can get like gel or something. The kids make their own
Yeah,
shirt and they draw it on there. It looks like somebody just drew those numbers on there, and
it
it just
really does.
right off.
I mean, had they just gone with a traditional flat numbering, I think the jersey would look good. The pants still would not make it, but the jersey would look better.
It's just frustrating they didn't go back to that retro look. They had the answer. All I wanted to see was the helmet, the shade of the blue on the helmet match those retro uniforms they're already wearing. And those retro uniforms were great. The only issue I had was like kind of that, the color around the collar that Nike does on a lot of uniforms, but that's more of a Nike thing than them. I mean, the solution was there in their lap. Washington fans, you're not alone. There's a lot of fan bases that are reeling, and they have to understand that they're probably not going to get an update for several more years, as it's a relatively expensive to do. So you have to hang in there while you watch other teams get updates, which is exactly what we're going to cover next time Chris and I get together. We're going to look at all the other teams in the league that are due for an update and kind of what they need to do to improve their current look. So please don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the teams we discussed. Did you like their rebrand, or did you think that they failed like Washington? Please let us know and give us your feedback, and we will see you next time.